Okay, today we are going to work on adding our water to our colored pencil drawings. You want to make sure that you have evenly colored in everything on your paper and mixing some colors together before you add the water. Once you start adding the water, you don't want to go back because you could actually make a hole in your paper. So make it sure it's all even, make sure you get all the white spots, and then you're going to use a paintbrush. And we're only using a paintbrush. The paint is already included in the colored pencil. I like to start with the sky, but you can start anywhere you want. These paintbrushes are nice and small. You're basically going to go slowly on top of the colored pencil, and you can see how that starts to blend those colors together already. It's really interesting how you kind of can see those colors blended together. I'm going to make sure that I just use the very tip of my paintbrush when I go around things like my trunk right here. I don't want that green to be on the trunk, and I did a lot of work on these flowers, so I'm going to make sure that that green isn't on top of those flowers. I can finish with one color, and if I need a little bit more water on my brush, I can just dip the tip of that, but I'm going to want to make sure I finish with just one color first, so I'll get all that green part done, and then I'll show you how you go to a different color. Okay, so I did all of the green. You can see it looks really interesting. I was really careful about going around my flowers. If I had just taken my paintbrush and gone over everything, the green would have mixed in with those colors and you would not have been able to see them. So now, since I already have green on my paintbrush, I need to give it a little bit of a rinse out so that I don't have any of that green on there. And I can go back and start using a different color. So maybe I want to use purple, and this flower is really pretty. I'm just going to use this purple right here. And I have another flower that's kind of a purple, so I could probably do that too. But I might not even want to paint those flowers since they're pretty small. I could just leave those with the colored pencil texture, and that looks great too. But when I switch to a different color, I need to make sure I rinse out my brush so that it doesn't have that similar color on there, and then I move on to a different color. And the color that you choose, you can use that brush for all of that color. So this is kind of the blue area, or a purple area. I have another purple area over here. I'm just going to start to use that paintbrush because that paint kind of works its way into your paintbrush and you can get a little bit of a darker color. And then once you have that finished, we'll put that in the drying rack, and you can see that's looking really cool. And we'll be able to put those into Artsonia. So some of these I can show you that are pretty successful. The yellow and the brown looks really interesting. This one's got some brown and some orange and black mixed in with it. Some of these haven't quite been finished, but you can see the texture even on this one, the texture of where I painted it with the water versus the color pencil. It's a slightly different texture, a little bit more of a watercolor paint texture. This one, I don't think I painted the flowers just because they were so small. Some of those smaller details you can probably just leave without having them be painted. This one, I think I painted everything. I might not have painted this part. So that's going to be how we work on our elephants today. Just make sure you're going slowly. Make sure that you get all of those spaces colored in evenly. And once again, once you start using the water and the paintbrush, do not go back and add more color. Sometimes students will try to go back and add more color with their colored pencil, and it will make a hole in your paper. So don't do that. Just make sure you get it colored really well first, and then you'll be able to use the water and it looks really nice.